Despite PB having its rough edges, the set has already shown great potential. Particularly the unit design, especially in the lower cost tiers, has been upgraded upon to be great, and while some differentiate on the top tier units on the 4 and 5 costs, that they share some similar itemization, it has opened up lots of flexible play, as well as the charms mechanic has been reintroduced in an amazing fashion. For our WOD review today, we're going to be jumping in game with Kurum X playing in a gold start. We have a Last Whisper, which is agreed upon pretty much now to be one of the best 80 items you can have. Simply the stat budget, plus providing that Sunder is amazing. Always seem to be wanting to making it over Even Shroud, which is some of a carry on from the previous set. Starting out with an upgraded Rex, I do not really have a Brawl Bruiser to pair with her. Otherwise, holding onto the scale, which probably wouldn't fit the board, maybe because we had the bow Akali, because how Inferno well links and how strong it is in early game. Otherwise, we do not seem to have established any kind of a direction apart from maybe wanting to play around these Rift Beasts, because just given how strong this is a vertical as a baseline, I'm going to hold on to Team on Pebbles for that reason. Chosen of the Sun would be good if we had that Rageblade opener. The thing with Kayle is, since you want those double Rageblades and so many 3 rods, without a rod opener, you do not want to be clicking it, and I greatly prefer if only I'm able to get a Rage Blade going by the stage 2 carousel. Infinity Protection, not exactly sure what lines it might fit the best right now. Perhaps something like a Warwick reroll could do quite well. Mastery, have not seen that much success with him just right now. Patience, that the generic great econ augment. Calculated loss would be better, but given this nature of the PvE lobbies, there might be some AFK players, and there might be some griefers because there's no LP on the line. Therefore, Patience Study negates that downside and gives us potential for us to win streak as well. Investment strategy, I believe, even though it has received some nerfs, still could shine in some of the reroll comps, and if the power level and the balance of the reroll comps goes live to be in a decent spot, it's going to be absolutely amazing set, in my opinion, to be playing, just because there's so many reroll lines, how you can link the units together, and there's great potential shown all around. If you were playing for that reroll, it probably could have bought that charm for the duplicator, as 3 health is obviously absolutely worth it. Otherwise, we are probably looking for maybe a little bit of a loss streak going on right now, just to get more value from our patient study, as well as our board is not being the strongest. Do not need to be committing to a slam right now, but if we hit that Gromp 2, we definitely could be playing around him since he's an adapter with that Last Whisper slam. Otherwise, it seems that we might be considering playing around these Rift Beasts just after all. No, we're going to sell the Gromp to make 10 gold. I'm interested to see where this goes. With Rek'Sai, it's just a flexible brawler line to be playing. We haven't hit any Elderwood units. With the Last Whisper, obviously, in my back of my mind, considering potential for that line, and he seems to have slotted in an Executioner type of board. Speaking of Elderwood and speaking of Executioners, it is one of the most flexible lines in my opinion. There is the package where you play around Ezreal Center Core, which is in my just few comps that I have tossed together in the sheet down below. Otherwise, you can also be playing, as you saw there, with around the Blossom version with an Ahri duo carry. The reason I stay a little bit away from this version is because how Ahri is contested, but the meta seems to be catching up heavily on this Ezreal, even though he received nerfs just yesterday. He's still a very strong carry and nicely ties to Soraka together, and yeah, you can just see, but he seems to be mapping out something right now, or he's perhaps talking. The downside of this unit design, in my opinion, is that what he's indicating right now is that Maokai, Ivern, then I believe there was one more unit. They all 3-5 cost essentially needs scaling and ramping time, and if you pick them up on stage 5, unless you have a large HP lead, you are better off not slotting them in. For example, Maokai, if you have a Mumu 2, if you find a Maokai on like 5-2, he's not going to be able to have enough time to ramp up, and if you do not have that HP lead to be sacking, or you have the potential to play for a win out, you would be just better off rocking Maokai, Mumu 2 the rest of the game, rather than chasing that Maokai 2 and just filling in his flex slot. For example, even Zyra, just giving durability is a decent flex unit. We're going to be going with the red buff slam right now. Master Yi can still utilize attack speed quite decently, and therefore just going to be looking to potentially kill off some units. A little bit of a mixture going on here, which we would not want to end up on the loss win loss, which is essentially the worst kind of mixture you could be going for, as you haven't made any 3 gold and they are in that loss down. This is essentially the lowest gold possibility you can have. So thankfully we have that econ augment to perhaps lead us in some kind of a direction. Otherwise, from my board, I am still not exactly sure what we're going to be going for. Maybe that was another reason for just going with the flexible slam of the red buff. Still trying to preserve as many lives as we possibly can. And his sub notifications, I don't recall them being this large, but he has made them that large. But here we go. Going to be ending up on a 2 win streak, which is quite nice. Have the potential to make 30 here, as we're going to opt to go for. Still, I believe we're still lacking in a direction. This is sometimes what happens in a PB when we do not have so many set comps and our board doesn't lead anywhere. I mean, we can just pick, since we have an econ augment, some kind of fast 8 line that is maybe open, or we have some of the lower cost units that we can play around. Ideally, some of the lower cost units, as you do not want to be chasing those on level 8. People tend to underestimate how much of an impact they can make in those later fights. Another glove, so this definitely would have been a decent possibility to be going for. And just quickly rewinding here, that was a different charm that I was trying to think of. This should still give us a potential to maybe keep the streak alive a little bit longer. Playing this Rokan 2, which is an upgraded, is completely fine. Going to go with the TG, trying to win this fight really. Yeah, just upgraded unit gives us value. We have that Teemo 2 now as well, so we have a potential. But here going against the Xayah, great as a reroll, great to be playing into this Ezreal, and it seems with a Rageblade Slam might be more leaning towards that Aphelios, because Xayah herself, if you're playing her in real variant, doesn't need the Rageblade. You're better off pulling in some 80 items just because she gains already so much attack speed from the Fae trait. For our next augment, I do not think we are on spot to be clicking a late game specialist. Amazing if you are able to still have a strong board, because you're going to be playing an augment down and you want to have that HP lead to actually make it to 9, and this allows you to actually stabilize there. The tower, it's a better in stage 2 because the fights drag on so long. Otherwise, I am not super hot on it, and we have a decent, at least frontline potential already. Branching out could give us the direction that we're looking for, could give us another Reforger. Focus Fire could be decent in some of these AD lines, maybe if you are carrying that Ezreal, or on something like Rapid Fires with that Aphelios. Find your center makes your positioning a little bit tricky in my opinion. This augment has no, I don't think we have ever been super hot on it, apart from something like what we had a Darius reroll in set 16. Therefore, branching out gives us an item and gives us some direction, but we do get a Defender emblem. How could we link our board together with the Defender right there? Going to be slotting in 3 Spike and making that Teemo our rider. I generally think it's a little bit better. Well, Spikins, well, the Tristana can utilize the attack speed. Some of these AP users, I mean, the attack speed is fine, but you're not going to be really benefiting from the extra HP, whereas tanks don't truly care about attack speed, but at least I feel like the HP is a little bit of better buffer. Nonetheless, we're just going to be riding here, and as the case, as you probably have noticed, if you've played any PB games, the rider just and the Willump go invisible. That is the case, how it is, but we seem to be holding onto this Blossom package right now. And it seems that's what we were going to be going for. 4 player health for 2 gold is a little bit of a more investment than I am, at least in this spot, truly comfortable going for. And yeah, we have some Infernos, we have some Rapid Fires. Unless we are going for an Executioner board, and even if we are, I'm not sure if the red buff, well, we have some holders that can definitely use it. We have the voice stuff, so we are leading in some kind of an AP board. And I suppose we are looking to be playing around this Ahri already, since we are holding on to these Karmas. Then with the Defender, I mean, the Defender Emerald can just utilize the Splash into Defender with that Fiddlesticks, for example. Gives you the Spellweaver, and then you could be dropping the Karma for a better Ashe. Still, despite the nerfs, is extremely strong unit and is a good holder of this red buff as well, if you wanted to go for it. Therefore, yeah, we're definitely leaning AP with picking up this Rod as well. The thing with Ahri is that you definitely want a mana item, and sometimes even 2 for her. Going to be opting to level, as it's a cheap level, just costing 1 gold right now. Trying to preserve these lives, even though we are running a lost streak. Econ augment, still any kind of lead that we can secure is going to be great value for ourselves. Elderwood emblem right there is an amazing emblem, allowing you to truly play for that 7 Elderwood executioners with the Soraka and Ezreal carry, and allowing you to drop something like that LeBlanc or well, Xayah probably even better. drop that Zaya and then slot in something like a Taric to actually activate some frontline power for you with the Vanguard, for example, as that line, even despite the 3, seems to be a little bit lacking in that department. The Iron Core charm, in my opinion, is also another tricky one to be playing, since this is going to be your most itemized unit. Again, slotting it exactly in the dead middle is a little bit of a risk, and there's also the one that I think there was the one that gives you the based on funny other frontline units, so your weaker units are going to be dying, and I do not think the values might be just exactly making up for you having to sacrifice your positioning that way, but maybe it is worthwhile. I might be off on that. Nonetheless, we again complete on our 2 streak rebounded, so a little bit of a mixed streaking. We have gained some value. We are on that oil XP, but yeah, now he's slotting in on the board at well, pretty much the board he had before. We get another rod, which is nice. Death Cap is a fine slam, but we still do not have that truly a mana generating item apart from this attack speed. We have the possibility to pick up Ezreal here. We have held on to some of these Elder Woods. I mean, we can obviously sell the Pebbles if we wanted to. But we pick up also an early Amumu here, which can nicely hold on to this Defender emblem. Seems that he's not going to be going for this Ezreal Seed, and there's another player right here looking to play that Ezreal. I mean, if we are competitive, we just hold on to it for now until we can to just reduce their odds of hitting. They also have that Rakantri from the Pandora's bench, which is back. I believe in 2-1 is extremely strong augment. Still great for your 1-cost reroll lines, but since it provides gold on 2-1, it's quite strong in my opinion. Ascension, despite the nerf, still a good combat option to be picking up, particularly if you don't have damage amp items. Tons of stats, generic eco, combat, augment, and plot armor, a little bit better if you want a little bit more frontline presence. In my opinion, Ascension would be the strongest combat option right now, but, well, how is our itemization looking like regarding the frontline? We have, well, 1 item and an emblem, so plot armor is probably a little bit better of a pickup right now. Healing Orb is better if you're able for a melee. He's going defaulting tons of stats. He's truly maybe, yeah, he's going to value tons of stats. I have not seen this being the click for quite a long time. Maybe I've been sleeping on it. I mean, it has a little bit all around power for ourselves. We have an open sword, so, you know, I thought the plot armor there might be a little bit more valuable, but we'll have to see. He also seems to be going on to a slow 8. We are in a spot to be able to afford. This also is going to put, if we lose this fight, which it seems that we're going to be doing so, is going to put us on a little bit of a better situation regarding the econ leveling interval, right? So we can make best use of that. And are we going to be going now? I would assume we are quite rich, and yeah, we're perfectly on interval, so it's going to be going for a roll down right now. Yeah, I would assume we're rolling down instead of trying to go 9. It's still making the Pebbles too, so it's lots of we might be trying to play around Vanguards. Find a cannon here, which is nice executioner, slot in right there. Another reason why this line is so successful is that cannon, sometimes if you position him well, can be definitely a menace. For example, with Ezreal being able to clean up fights, Ahri synergizing with him, Ashe as well, anything that can essentially have some kind of backline access and get the assist from this cannon jumping onto the backline can secure some wins. Not going to be overrolling. Still, this is another neat thing to be keeping track of in this set, is whenever you're going for your roll downs, if you are in a spot where you don't have to full send it, it's quite nice to simply save up a little bit of a gold so you can roll for a decent charm, and as well, because they can make a world of difference. You should never underestimate how much these charms can truly do for you. Pick up a tier for our mana item finally. And now going to be fishing further for our upgrades. Still seems to be going around this jug. We have finally found that Ahri that we can slot in. Also picked up a Zyra, which is a nice aura. I am still not exactly sure what this Pebbles is doing here. We have a nice Bronze for Life setup, and also another thing that these AP lines, whenever you're able to link them and the set, can definitely conceive Bronze for Life becoming a good augment with some little bit more cookie cutter versions being discovered, but generally you can be quite flexible. You can see this Ashe here, even at 1-star, able to trickle our backline down so much, and I don't think that was the best itemization, but I might have overlooked. Not going to be utilizing also the Blackthorn sacrifices. We do not really have a unit. Maybe we could be sacrificing this Yorick if we wanted to. There we go. Also opted to go just to rewind here for that armory for the items, just because we have so many slots. Heavy investment here in Kappa Juice. But if he believes in it, they can definitely provide a lot of power. Rocking 3 defender right now. So, I mean, are we going to be going for this Lily? I believe we can just be playing this Malphite right now. And also you have to remember the Blackthorn sacrifice is going to be benefiting the Blackthorn unit itself a little bit more. And since we do not have the strongest one or them upgraded just yet, probably not going to be valuing the death of the unit that much. All things considered, even though we were quite rich, haven't hit that much, we still have a lot of units to chase, so probably looking to resend it here. Holding on to these Lilias is a potential pair. A Zyra always fits in nicely together whenever you're rocking around this core as well, because of the summoner also for the Azir. Instead going to be passing up on her, and I just like her aura as a general thing. Now going for a Roland. Find that Ari too. We have the cannon too, so sorry, the Amumu too, so we have some form of frontline presence for ourselves if we wanted to. Just say that this should be enough for us to maybe try to look to push level 9. Nonetheless, we should be holding still for charms, in my opinion, if we wanted to be pushing levels if we can. Going against the Elderwood Draven there. Draven, fun unit to be playing around. I'm not sure if it fits the best this Elderwood board, but if you're able to get him going, you can definitely cap your aim quite high. And that's another reason it's another one of the scaling units of the Firescraft aspects. Yeah, we are sacrificing this Yorick for now, just to gain it a little bit buff now that we have hit some upgrades. And let's see how far we can stack up this Takapa juice. I myself have had troubles making this Azir unit work. You can see he's going to roll there once, just picking up a charm, trying to win these rounds as, you know, it costs you econs, especially these econ intervals here at this point of the game, but an extra round is going to get you further than making another extra 2 or 3 gold sometimes. Especially if you're able to get to PV rounds. Going to be clearing up a close fight here, and this Kappa juice is starting to reach a decent amount of stacks. Malphite 2 natural for ourselves, which is amazing, giving us some more frontline presence, keeping this road open. Could just reinforce this cloak, and immediately able to make the Archangels complete 3 items on our backline, so we have a proper duo carry setup going. There's that player flexing around, also some Ezreal Executioners with the Felios nicely tying the board together, but they do seem to be lacking on the frontline department. This line is definitely a very hot one. It's nice to see that this innovation of this more Executioner flex. Another thing to note about Executioners that we do want to be playing around 3 Executioners, it seems. The extra true damage that you gain at 3 is just so worthwhile. And while 2 sometimes links the board a little bit well together, if you are able to get to 3 and maybe drop down for something like a 7 Elderwood down to 5, it can be definitely worthwhile. Blaze, I like this as a charm, a little bit of an expensive side, but we are on a 5 streak, so if you kept this streak going, it's definitely going to pay off. And we are going to be closing in on that level 9, and the board, the trait-wise, just looks amazing as well. Definitely can see a Bronze for Life setup working around this Executioner flex, and as I mentioned, there are quite a lot of packages to be playing around. Amumu being recognized as one of the strongest tanks in game, but you can always play around this Malphite as well. You can try to play around Vanguards if you have that option, and we can also be playing around Set with the Brawlers and activating Blossom that way. Lilia is also a fine pickup, as we can see he has it in his planner. So lots of ways how you can link this board together. And we are probably going to be leveling for the Soraka, activating also the 2 Florist, I think is the last trait he has right there, but perfect trait synergy as well. Up against the Taric too, but their backline seems to be lacking a little bit. And we were able to get that Ashe down, I believe it was Ashe, just a nick of a time before she even casted. But we were on the opposite side nonetheless, so we should be fine. Closing here on 7 streak, nicely rebounded from the little bit of a wonky opener. Nicely stabilizing and working out our items, and even without any clear direction, just locked in a board that we can be playing for, identified which units might be a little less contested in the lobby and able to go for them. And now this Kappa juice already is starting to almost go out of the screen. And yeah, Greater Chaos sometimes can give you extreme high rolls, and if it rolls combat ones, I've had also the cases where it rolled me the insane 2 combat doubles. Is just immense. Scouted the lobby around, see that there's quite a bit of an AD, but pick you immediately to AP player obviously, so it's fine to be picking up a Bramble Vest, as just completing another 3 item tank right now could be quite a lot of a value. This is going to be a close fight, nonetheless, despite the double combat charms. No, the backline got back, and we are definitely off the screen with these hats right now. Our mayhem happening right on our screen as we have locked in our top 4. Still going to be sacking, it seems to be going for level 9 rather than just chasing these couple of last 2 stars. I believe having 4 Executioner here is going to be a lot of value for us. Also going to keep that Soraka. Rolled for a Charm, got these upgrades as consumables, which are quite nice. Up against the Draven too and Ezreal too, so this is going to be a real test. Has that country, but it's on the opposite side, so we're going to be able to clean off the weaker of the units. The Amumu is going to be our last frontline unit standing. The Ahri ult is coming in, the bounces are a little slow, but in a very close fight we're able to snatch out a victory and secure ourselves at top 2, and this, in my opinion, was definitely a Charm diff, letting that Amumu stall just long enough. Again, still, despite sacking, going to be rolling once picking up the first charm that we see is completely fine for ourselves. Are we able to close out a game though? It's a Elder Dragon 2. That seems to be, I believe it's a Veigar reroll right there. You're riding that Willump. Elder Dragon definitely poses some threat, but the Ornn 3 again is not exactly onto that side. However, they seem to be blowing up our front line very fast. Nonetheless, another Ahri ult comes in. The Elder Dragon has it, and the moon comes down, but it's not enough to be taking down this Elder Dragon. So it seems like we do need that level 10 spike just because how close these fights are. Can pick up another frontline augment here. Protector's Vow is going to be doing nice. And we just... what do we even level for? I mean, Taric is a fine setup, and we're going to be a little bit greedy here. It seems like we're going to be potentially sacking one more, activating this Charm. See the Coven Lux, that is not going to be really providing any value for ourselves. Going to refinesse our items just because Amumu is that CC tank right here. Getting that extra mana on him is going to be more worthwhile. Seems that this Ornn is now going to be in our face. Ahri does trickle down the units. Azir is cleaning up. We are still quite high on hats, which is quite good for us, but now that they rolled from the Belzim, it's a Charm, that Radiant Last Whisper, we're going to be taking even a bigger loss. Pick up that Zyra, which can fit, and find that Cannon 2 on a single roll, which is amazing for ourselves. Find that Zyra, give it a little bit more durability. Seems like we're going to be opting to go for a spread out position. I wonder what is the exact reason for it, as our cannon could become quite vulnerable in this kind of positioning. Perhaps just to negate the splash damage from the Elder Dragon. It goes onto the other side, the cannon is going to be safe. Now makes it onto the backline right there. It pulls away the aggro from the Elder Dragon, and it seems that the spread out positioning truly worked out against this Elder Dragon. The spike was enough, we had enough durability and cleaned up the game. Very fun game from Kurum X right here. Despite lack of early game direction or streak potential, identified which line we could be playing for, what our items are going to be fitting, and nicely flexing around this Executioner core with the frontline options, particularly once we found that Amumu and Cannon on our roll down. From there on, stabilized our board, continuously rolling for charms just to be able to maintain that streak and achieve this level 10 cap, which allowed us to win out the game. I hope that despite the bugs, you are enjoying the PB. Just don't burn yourselves out, as this PB cycle is going to be long and it's going to get even better the closer we get to the set release. And as usual, I would like to thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something new, and I wish to see you in the next one. Have a good one.